Okay, welcome to the Unit 1 video tutorial. This is for Day 1 homework, pages 1 and 2. Because you looked this up on YouTube or Canvas, you're getting extra credit. So just kind of up here underneath name, go ahead and write found video. Okay, give me a little smiley face and put +5 extra credit. Okay, you get extra credit for finding our video tutorials for the first 3 days of homework. That way you know how to find them and use them when you need them. Okay, I'm going to go over just a couple of these problems with you. The rest of them you should be able to figure out based on what we look at. Feel free to fast forward or rewind or pause as you need on these videos. Okay, looking at 6, 7, and 8 here. We're talking about differences between metals and nonmetals. If you were in class today, you should have the colored periodic table going from metals on one side, the metalloids in the middle, and then your nonmetals over here on the right. You can absolutely use your notes as you go over the homeworks. But it says metal or nonmetal tend to be lustrous, which means shiny. So our shiny elements are going to definitely be our metals. They tend to be lustrous. Nonmetals are considered dull, like it says on here, number 5. Number 7, metals or nonmetals tend to be ductile. Ductile is similar to malleable. It means you can pull it into wires. Okay, you wouldn't make a oxygen wire, you'd make a copper wire, which is a kind of metal. So our metals are ductile or used to make wires. And then number 8, metals or nonmetals are poor conductors of heat. So if you're a poor conductor, you're known as an insulator here. So that would be our nonmetals. Metals tend to be good conductors of heat and electricity. Nonmetals are poor conductors of heat and electricity. For Mendeleev and Moseley, these are the 2 scientists that we attribute our periodic table to. If you were going to alphabetize ME versus MO, you would put ME first in the alphabet, and he made the first periodic table. So Mendeleev made the first periodic table according to atomic mass. Moseley was our young British officer who died in the World War. He rearranged the periodic table according to number of protons or atomic number. Okay, that's our current periodic table. So number 11 says the periodic table that is set up according to increasing atomic number or protons is Moseley, MO. Periodic table according to atomic mass, that would be Mendeleev, the first one. Okay, because we knew how heavy something was. It took a lot more science to develop later to figure out protons. Okay, and then this word right here sometimes trips students up on quizzes and tests. Modern, meaning current, meaning the second, meaning the one we use today, modern era. The current or modern periodic table was made by Moseley according to atomic number or protons. Okay, so check that in your notes if you need to. Number 16, which metal is the most reactive? Okay, so we want to find which metal is the most reactive. So our most reactive metals are the alkali metals, this first family. Okay, the most reactive tends to be on the outsides, the extremes. So sodium definitely looks good, but I'm not going to pick it until I look at everything. Beryllium Be here is an alkaline earth metal. It is reactive, but not as much as sodium would be. Copper, way over here in your transition metal group, is not very reactive at all. And then lead, again, is way over here in the middle, so non-reactive, or less reactive, I suppose. Okay, so I've looked at those, and then I can say sodium. Family 1, or the alkali metal family, are the most reactive metals. And number 17, which element does not react? Which one is non-reactive or not react? That would only be our noble gases. Okay, so the elements in the middle are less reactive, but when we say non-reactive, we're talking about our noble gases. They already have 8 valence electrons, so they don't need any more. So I'm going to come through and say hydrogen. That's not one. Sulfur is reactive. Argon, that one looks good. And then fluorine. Fluorine is incredibly reactive. So I know the answer is going to be C, argon. not react means noble gas. Okay. Number 20 down here says, since elements in the same group have similar properties, name one other element that would have similar properties to each of the following. So there is your huge hint, in the same group. So in the same group or family or column, you're going to have similar chemical properties. So you're trying to find at least one element in their families. So neon's family is the noble gases, 18. So you could put any other element in this family. So I'm just going to say underneath it, argon is one example of an element that will be similar chemical properties. For Na, sodium, any other alkali metal. So I'll just say potassium. You could say lithium, rubidium, cesium, francium. They're all going to have similar chemical properties in the same family. Okay. Nitrogen, I'll say phosphorus because it's in the same family or column. And that's going to be the same way you do these guys. Find them and then put one other element from their family. Similar chemical properties. All right, page 2. Page 2, make sure you're paying attention to the 2 blanks, okay? So every one of these questions, you're going to say in this first blank, metal, non-metal, or metalloid. And then you are also going to pick something from here for the special family name. Okay, so I'm going to look at these ones with you. Sodium, right here, is definitely on the metal side. So for my first blank, I'm going to say M for metal. And does it have a special family name? Yes. It's an alkali metal, family 1. Okay. Helium, way over here, is definitely a non-metal. We don't call it gases. I know sometimes in middle school and 8th grade science they taught you they're the metals and the gases. No. Metals and non-metals. And helium is also a member of family 18, which means it gets the special name noble gas. Ng for noble gas. Lithium is in the same family as sodium, so it's going to have the same answers as sodium. It's a metal, and it's an alkali metal. So A for alkali metal. Silver, sometimes students struggle finding that. You'll get much, much better at finding the elements on the periodic table as the year goes on, and you get used to it. But silver is Ag right here. It's a metal. So I'm going to put M for metal. And it's a transition metal. It's one of those middle metals, so I can say Tm. Okay. Barium is Ba down here in family 2. Family 2 has the special name alkaline earth metal. You'll need to memorize those family names, these ones here, and keep them memorized all year for tests. But I would say metal and then Ae for alkaline earth metal. One other one to look at with you maybe is this one. Okay. Sulfur is number 16 on the periodic table. It's a non-metal, so Nm here, but it doesn't have a special name. It's not part of the halogen family. It's not part of the noble gas family. So for sulfur, I would say it doesn't have a special name. So for the second blank, I would just say X. There's no other special name. So there are a couple like that that would have an X for the second blank. So don't worry about that if you find them. Okie-dokie. Huge hint right here, which is something you'll need memorized, that the period number is the number of energy levels. And remember, look at right here too. You write a sentence horizontally and you put a period at the end. So period is always horizontal, side to side. Just like the levels on the periodic table or the levels on a building. The first level, second, third, fourth. Okay. So horizontal is energy levels and the name is period. The ones place group number is the number of valence electrons. So probably, hopefully, in class your teacher did 1 or 2 of these with you, so I want to do the second ones here. And I didn't give you the element name, but I told you the number of the valence electrons and the period number. Okay, so I would say group 1, period 3 is right there, sodium. Sodium, which is Na. I think it's natrium in Latin. That's why it has the symbol Na. It's annoying. I don't know. It just is. Okay? So I know that it's group 1, has 1 valence electron. It's in period 3 because it has 3 energy levels. Phosphorus is the symbol P. You don't have to write that, but just getting used to it. That phosphorus is P. It's number 15. It's in group 15 or 5A. You can put either 15 or 5A. You can't say group 5 because that's different, but you could say 15 or 5A. And the number of valence electrons, you take the 1's spot, which is just 5. It's got 5 valence electrons. Phosphorus is in period 1. Let me put that on the screen. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes students will say period 2 because they see that above it, but don't forget 1, 2, 3. I'm going to say period 3, which means it would have 3 energy levels in the Bohr model. All right, and the last two I'll help y'all out with. Which ones describe sulfur? So sulfur is here. It's a nonmetal. I'm going to make a little note to myself because we're still learning the periodic table. So it's not very dense. That would be something that's metals. That's garbage. It would be brittle. Nonmetals are brittle, so that looks good. It's not lustrous. It's not shiny. That tends to be metals. And it's not soft and bendable, malleable. So I found my 3 garbage answers, which means there's my correct answer. It's a brittle nonmetal. 23, which of the following does not describe a metal? It's a good idea to highlight those word indicators on your test or circle or underline as you go. Okay. Which one is not true of metals? Metals are ductile. Metals do have a high melting point. Metals are malleable. Metals are not brittle. Non-metals tend to be brittle. Okay. Just some really good testing strategies that we want to help you learn. Okay, that's a video tutorial. Make sure you got the extra credit on page 1 for finding this video tutorial. Rewind it if you need to. And thanks for watching.